So we're taking a second look at Ironjawz. Gonna do that first. Oh yeah, right. I gotta make sure I do the other thing. Add Age of Sigmar. Come talking about more Ironjawz. So we actually need the Ironjawz rules. What else do we need? I feel like I still have to think on this. Like, really? I mean, is it fair to say that Ironjawz are like these rules can suck, but the army can be good? Is that something that you can actually say? Of course. So I'm in a position now where I think that Ironjawz are going to be really good. I'm hyped on Ironjawz now. But I'm still having a hard time with these rules. I'm still kind of torn. On one hand, everyone says that moving 3 inches, like, this murder lost ability is really good. The target can move up to 3 inches. It can move into combat. If it was in combat at the start of the move, it must end that move in combat. So it can swap between units. It can leave combat with one and enter into combat with another. Which is, like, I think it's probably going to be best on things like brutes. Right? So it could, like, charge in and then, like, have a weird tail and then use its weird tail to, like, sneak into combat with something else. Or, like, just get deeper into the enemy line. Right? Just, like, sink in further. So the thing that they're screening is going to get more attacks against it instead of the screen itself. It's any hero phase, so it's like it's going to happen like you're going to move your Ironjawz, your brutes 3, and then they're going to do things like pile in. There's no roll, so it's guaranteed. So it's more like 6 inches a turn. Well, they can't retreat and charge, but they can retreat in Mighty Destroyers. Right? So, I mean, like, everyone says it's really good, right? And it's like, I just personally am having, like, I can see its value. Yeah, no. Yeah, for sure. Like, there's going to be some tricks with that. That was not set up, so it's like there's also that. If it didn't have that not set up ability, I'd be like, oh, okay. So it's like there's like a teleport move charge. Right. Mighty Destroyers is supposed to be good because you move into combat and they can't charge something you don't want them to. You can move into combat and they can't charge something you don't want them to. Well, yeah, like you're gonna like tag them in combat. Like you're good. They're like brutes are gonna feel, because I think that I'm trying to think about them in terms of brutes, because I think it's fair to say that that's where they're going to be. Mighty Destroyers is going to be at its best. It could have a role, like, for example, if you go first or if you go second, by your second turn, it's happened at least twice. And if you're going second, then by your second turn, it's gone 3 times. So that's 9 inches. So, like, cumulatively, if that's part of your game plan, if you're like, okay, I'm going to Mighty Destroyers this big pig all 3 times up the side, it's like, oh, my fan's probably... Sorry, my AC's probably way too noisy. If you, yeah, do it all at the side, it's like, well, by turn 2, if I'm going second, right, it's like I've moved 17 inches plus a run so far. And I'm at 1 momentum. So it's like, brutes can move 13 in 1 turn. Just like with their regular move and a charge or with a run or something. Yeah, but it's only adding 3. Like, they could have done 10 anyway, right? It's like... So, like, I don't know. My mic isn't even set up properly, sorry. So, but I get, like, the slippery in combat thing. So I think, do you use it early on something that you're trying to move fast into position? It's a shorter counter charge. Brutes are so slow. I hope that we still have Hand of Gork. The teleporting seems like it's been shut down. I wonder if the real Mighty Destroyers will be a spell or something. Well, it's because and that's the thing. Myrtleous is a top tier skill, and I don't really know why it matters. It's only true in the context of Khorne. It's just that Khorne can do it, and everything that Khorne is. So it's not like you can't take a rule in isolation. You can make comments like, you know, types of rules that do this are better than types of rules that do that. That's fair, but it's hard to like a rule isn't good. It's the context in which the rule is found. The context is everything, you know? But Ironjawz are like Khorne. Khorne was up to 3 units. You could do it up to 3 times. It would take you 3 points, right? And it's D6. So it's not even... I'd rather have 3 than D6. Straight up. I think 3 is strictly better than D6. And again, that's me as a player. I'm like, I want consistency. I want to be able to plan around what's going to happen. And 3 is the perfect number. Obviously, 4 would be better. But if it was 2, I would say it's bad. It has to be 3 because it has to be that combat range. Like, you can retreat and then Mighty Destroyers before, like, any charge shenanigans. It's also not... Like, is there a Unleash Hell equivalent? Like, like, not charging people, does that have a bonus? I don't think it does. There might be something... Again, I hate talking about potential enhancements, because if there's, like, enhancements that let you do this up to 3 times, let's say, like, it puts that Mega Boss ability, can they use Power Through? They can, but I think you have to roll for Power Through, and you have to roll, like, under their health, I think. Let's look it up. Age of Sigmar 4. Yeah. Have I been muted this whole time? No. I think I have a hidden hotkey somewhere. Yeah. So, brutes can definitely use power through. I'm back now, right? Okay, good. Inflict D3 mortal damage on the target, so on the screen. Then the unit using this ability can move a distance up to its move, 4 inches. It can pass through and end the move with the combat ranges of enemy units that were in combat with it at the start of the move, but not those of other units. It does not have to end the move in combat. Right, so it can sort of retreat and deal D3 mortal wounds. Charge, right? So now you're like move, charge, retreat, mighty destroyers, right? Mighty destroyers, when thought about in terms of like power through, is actually really interesting. Brutes with power through are crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be like run brutes 6, or just run the brutes, and then like so you're mighty destroyering. Let's just get some math. You're mighty destroyering, plus you are moving, plus you're running. So we'll just say 6. And then you're mighty destroyering again on their turn, and then you're charging on their turn. It's a lot of inches. It's 3 command points. And it's crazy. 4th edition is going to be nuts. You're going to be thinking about your lists just in terms of like what command points you're planning on spending. Like having a game plan for what you're spending your CP on, and knowing like what our other armies can do, and what they can spend their CP on. Playing pigs like Stonehorns, yeah. I think that you'll see that, but I think that there's going to be disincentive in 4th to spam any unit or any type of unit. I think the game is going to have it sort of built into it like that. Like, for example, there might only be one hero that unlocks big pigs, right? And so if you play like multiple of those, you'd have to play multiple of the same hero, and then the buff sort of becomes redundant. Think, you know, like weird interactions like that. Like you can't just be like Tusk boss and then all big pigs. It has to be like 3 Tusk bosses, right? Yeah, they are. And that's another sort of limitation, right? Of like what, like kind of like monster mash lists. And I also think like with the seasonal rules that we've seen, like the fact that you can be like, well, this unit gets +1 to rend against all monsters. It's like, well, I'm running all monsters. It's like, right. It's like, and now I'm just gonna buff this unit to high heaven and keep it safe and just charge it in at you, and right? Like, I think the game is gonna build in like build diversity. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be like, they're going to be weirdly slippery. The real question I have at this point is what's the delivery system to get the brutes actually into the fight? Like, how do we put them into the fight? Because like Mighty Destroyers doesn't do it. Like I was saying before, like if you're going first on your second turn, you'll get to Mighty Destroyers 3 times before your move. Okay, and if you're going second on your second turn, you will get to Mighty Destroyers 4 times before your second move. So, like, the sum of those distances, because there's no roll, you just get to, so you can plan to. So, like, the brutes can move just with Mighty Destroyers if you're going second, like 9 to 12 inches. And that will be with 2 moves, will be like 7, yeah. 17 to whatever it was. It's a lot, right? Cav runs up first, I guess. Well, exactly. It's like you got your big pigs out on the flank. I think that's probably where they're still going to be at their best. Because it sounds to me like Ironjawz is going to play a lot more like Corn now, right? Like Corn is like a melee meat grinder. So we're gonna really have like cavalry, and then you're basically gonna play like Ard Boys to keep your home objectives, right? Give them like whatever, and then your brutes are gonna go forward and take objectives, right? And then the Warchanter's gonna do his thing, the Weird Knob's gonna do his thing, and then maybe Mega Boss or some big pigs, right? Like I feel like it's gonna be more like. Yeah, the infantry are gonna matter suddenly now. Like, those brutes just deal so much damage. Like, they just deal so much damage. Yeah, we lost the teleport spell, it seems. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It sounds like they're kind of cutting that back. Like, did you see the Sylvaneth rules today? Like, they just sort of nerfed Strike and Fade. Like, they're just reducing those kinds of play. And I get it. I get why. Huge nerf. Yeah, it's end of turn. It's every turn. Okay? It's every turn. So that's, like, good. It is a roll now. It doesn't just go off. It's a 2-up, right? But it is a roll. And the ranges are significantly reduced. So it's like, I think it's like you have to be wholly within 6 to leave, and you have to end wholly within 3 of a different tree. So you can't even do the same tree. Like, it is nerfed. We were joking, because I have a bunch of Sylvaneth, that it's like, just a lot for sale. Yeah, the bracket's way better. Because he can actually get hit. And there is lots of healing. And there are ways to, like, recur these units. So I think that it'll still be, like, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, the point is that, like, yeah, they're reducing, like, the shenanigans. They're reducing the shenanigans. No more teleport, mighty destroyer, charge, like just nonsense. Like what the Maw Crusher could do, like retreat and then pile into a different thing. We're gonna do that in other ways, though. We're gonna do that with our pigs now. Yeah, no, like people say mighty destroyers is good, and then when I really start to think about it, I'm like, okay, oops, that's my own thing. I'm like, I think it is good now. So. Where did my rules go? That's unfortunate. But we still, like, do Ironjawz need a 3d6 charge? Is Mighty Destroyers enough? I'm kind of surprised that the Warchanter, maybe it's a spell, there's a 3d6 charge. Like, what's the name of that spell? Yeah, like... Everything looks really good. Pig pong table, that's funny. What do you guys think about this Rhythm of Destruction ability? I'm kind of thinking that it's actually good. I'm kind of thinking that, like, the way you have to think about this is in terms of its... like charging up spells, right? Like essentially what it does is it adds some consistency into whether or not like you can get the charged up version of these spells. Well, let me try to convince you. So he'll kill something. Like he'll kill a 1 or a 2 wound model. So if he fights, he's gonna kill something. Like 1 or 2 wounds, right? So if it's not like a 1 or 2 wound enemy, then he doesn't really pile in, right? But the question is, he would only fight into favorable combats. It is weird that he has to fight in the turn order, though. He makes the turn order awkward. He's not fighting first. I kill your Warchanter. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of... But, like, what's the probability that even if the Warchanter's fighting me, that, like, I won't get to even make that choice? Like, for example, if you have a strike first unit fighting, then the Warchanter can fight. Right? And then you can, like, kill a model. And then, yeah, no, he'd have to be screened out so well. Like, that's the thing, right? Is that he doesn't have to, like, go base to base. He just has to be within 3. Right? Like, he doesn't have to charge, necessarily. Well, chaff units to clean up, exactly. Well, I think he's gonna live and die based on the prayers. But isn't the one prayer that we've seen, like the war bead is really good. It's mighty, it's Violent Fury, right? So you'll probably play one because, like, you'll want the prayer. I guess fundamentally, Resurrection is great, right? Yeah, I know exactly. But the thing is that, like, if he kills a model, then on your next turn, when you're casting your ritual spells, like, the probability that you get to overcharge them goes up significantly. Right? That's kind of what I'm saying. It's like, it's a really strong ability to get to add ritual points, because overcharge. Is that even what it's called? But you understand what I mean. Because overcharge exists, adding extra points is really good. It also means, I was making this argument before, that if you have like bad luck and you've chanted twice, like let's say you go first and you've chanted twice and it's your like move charge combat phase, and both times you chanted you rolled ones, and you're sitting there looking at 2 points and you need 4 to cast a thing, or you need like 5 to cast a thing, like all of a sudden you're kind of like, man, D3 points would really make a big difference right now. And that's an option that's on the table. So if you are cleaning up a chaff unit, or you can kind of take a risk, or we'll see what it feels like with just like the way that combat works, you know? Like maybe you can like hit, like you're within range of one of their models, and then one of their models can hit you back, but they can't really pile in closer to you. So like, you know, you're going to tap them, they're going to tap you back, but you're more likely to kill a model. Yeah, but you sort of know what I mean. It's like, let's say that you need 8 and you've rolled 2 and 2 and you're at 4. And it's like, well, next turn I would need 4, or I could add D3 and then still roll a 1 and like maybe actually get my overcharge. But at least I feel like you guys agree that if this does go off, it actually is a powerful effect. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, I'm not necessarily arguing the likelihood that this goes off, but when it does, it'll feel really good. It also just might mean that, like, you can roll once and then, like, maybe you cast a prayer, you're at 0, and then, like, you fight and get D3, right? And then it's your turn again, and you can overcharge it twice in a row or something, you know? I think for the late game edge to help your final few models win, there's that situation as well. Like, we've all fought with Warchanters. So, like, the fact you could fight, like, in those end game scenarios when the heroes do finally get into the fray. Yep. And then it's like, yeah, like, all of a sudden it's like I'm getting, like, the souped up version of my prayers. Because he's killed, like, 4 Hobgrots. You know, and then, like, oh, there's 1 Hobgrot left. He's gonna hit him again, and get another D3, and right, it's like suddenly it's like kind of good. I think it'll be a really hard unit to use, but I think you could sort of like play enough games with like Ironjawz and Mighty Destroyers that you start to get more consistent with the Warchanter actually killing things. Like just picking off models, right? And if the combat's grindier and slower, then you can kind of like expect like multiple terms of combat, so he doesn't get in the first round, he sort of gets in the next round. Like I could see it. Like everyone was sort of like saying it was like bad. It's like don't put your Warchanter in combat, and it's like correct, right? Like fair. But I think that you can kind of like he's so weak though. Like the 4-up save and 6 health, like yuck. Yuck, 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 yuck. Like, it is risky. But I don't know. Maybe that's how you have to play priests. Because all the priests are going to be getting into the fray. So it's like, yeah, like, if he's helping kill things, like, that's actually good. And he gets some of the buffs as well, right? So, I don't know. It's pretty good. I'm a fan. Anyway, that's all the time I got for today. I gotta go take care of some stuff. But it's fun thinking out loud with you guys. Ooh. All right, see you later.